Ever wondered how a world dominated by farming transformed into a bustling industrial society within just a few decades? This question takes us back to the late 18th century, to the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, Britain. A period of rapid technological and societal change, the Industrial Revolution soon spread like wildfire across Europe and the world, leaving no corner untouched. This revolution marked a dramatic shift from an agrarian society to an industrialized one. Everything from the way people lived, worked, and even thought was transformed. The landscape of Europe was forever altered, with factories and machines replacing fields and farms. The rhythm of life quickened, and the world as we knew it began to take shape. But what did these changes mean for the people of Europe? How did their lives change? How did society evolve? Join us as we delve into the profound effects of the Industrial Revolution on European society. Imagine a city's population multiplying several times in just a few years. That's urbanization for you. The Industrial Revolution, starting in Britain in the late 18th century and spreading across Europe, triggered a significant population shift. As factories increasingly sprouted up in city centers, they became magnets for folks from rural areas, leading to a mass migration that saw cities swell with new inhabitants. This sudden influx of people, hungry for the promise of regular work and wages, led to a rapid urban sprawl. By the close of the 19th century, the majority of Europeans had traded the open fields for the bustling city streets. This was a remarkable shift, considering that Europe had been predominantly rural just a century before. However, this rapid urbanization was not without its challenges. Imagine you're living in a city that's growing faster than its infrastructure can keep up. Overcrowding became a norm, and poor living conditions were rife. Basic amenities like housing, clean water, and sanitation were stretched thin, making city life for the average worker a daily struggle. Yet, it wasn't all gloom and doom. The rise of cities also brought about remarkable advancements. The need to move large numbers of people efficiently gave birth to public transportation systems. Sanitation, too, saw significant improvements, as city officials grappled with the health challenges posed by crowded living conditions. Alongside these physical changes, urbanization also brought about social shifts. New social issues emerged, such as crime and poverty, which required new solutions. City life was a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and social classes, leading to a vibrant, if often challenging, urban existence. So yes, the Industrial Revolution did not just change how people worked, it changed where they lived and how they lived. The cityscape of Europe was forever changed, creating a new urban world out of a rural one. With progress came a dark cloud of pollution, quite literally. As factories sprouted up across Europe during the Industrial Revolution, they spewed forth plumes of smoke, shrouding cities in a thick, choking haze. The once crystal-clear waters of rivers and streams turned murky and toxic, tainted by the relentless dumping of industrial waste. Factories powered by coal and steam were the lifeblood of the Industrial Revolution. Yet they were also its greatest polluters. The smoke from burning coal filled the air with soot and other harmful particles. Industrial processes released noxious chemicals into the atmosphere. The result? A significant degradation of air quality, the effects of which were felt most acutely in urban areas where factories were concentrated. The water wasn't safe either. Industrial waste, untreated and full of harmful substances, was often dumped directly into rivers and streams, turning them into open sewers. This not only threatened the aquatic life but also posed a significant risk to human health, as these water bodies were often the primary source of drinking water. The health hazards associated with pollution were manifold. Respiratory problems, skin conditions, and a host of other ailments became commonplace among the populace living in the vicinity of factories. The grim irony was that the very progress that was supposed to improve people's lives was also making them sick. At first, the issue of pollution was largely ignored. The focus was on progress and economic growth, and the environment was seen as a necessary sacrifice. However, as the veil of pollution thickened and its effects became too dire to ignore, the tides of public opinion slowly began to turn. By the late 19th century, there was a growing recognition of the dangers of pollution and the need for regulation. Governments started implementing laws to control industrial emissions and to manage waste disposal. These measures marked the beginning of a long and ongoing struggle. The struggle to balance the demands of progress with the need to protect our environment. The Industrial Revolution left a significant environmental footprint, prompting the onset of conscious efforts to control pollution. The divide between the rich and the poor widened like never before. This was the stark reality of the Industrial Revolution. As the wheels of industry turned, they spun a tale of disparity that was as profound as it was pervasive. The factory owners, the bourgeoisie, found their coffers swelling, their wealth amplified by the ceaseless toil of machinery. The proletariat, the factory workers, on the other hand, found themselves ensnared in a cycle of poverty, their lives reduced to mere cogs in the industrial machine. This disparity was not just a matter of wealth, but also of living conditions. The bourgeoisie enjoyed the luxuries afforded by their wealth, living in spacious homes, dining on the finest food, and dressing in the latest fashions. The proletariat, however, lived in cramped, unsanitary conditions, often in close proximity to the very factories where they toiled for long hours. Their meals were meager, their clothes threadbare. But amidst this grim tableau, a beacon of hope emerged. The labor unions began to rise, their voices a clarion call amidst the deafening noise of the factories. They fought for the rights of the factory workers, demanding better wages, safer working conditions, and a more equitable distribution of wealth. Their struggle was not easy. They faced opposition, not just from the factory owners, but also from the government and the police. But they persevered, their determination fueled by the belief in a better future. They organized strikes, staged protests, and even ran for political office. Their efforts bore fruit, slowly but surely. Laws were passed, regulations were implemented, and the plight of the factory workers began to improve. Yet the legacy of this social inequality endures. The gap between the rich and the poor, though less pronounced, still exists. The struggle for fairer distribution of wealth and rights continues, an echo of the past that resonates in the present. The struggle for fair distribution of wealth and rights became a prominent part of the societal fabric. And it is this struggle, this ongoing quest for equality, that is one of the enduring legacies of the Industrial Revolution. In a nutshell, the Industrial Revolution was a game changer. It kick-started an era of unprecedented growth and development that forever altered the face of European society. From the rolling countryside to the bustling city streets, the shift from an agrarian society to an industrial one was both dramatic and transformative. The rapid urbanization brought about by the Industrial Revolution drew people to the cities in droves. Yet with this migration came a new set of challenges. Overcrowding, poverty, and a rise in crime were just some of the issues that sprung from rapid urban development. But this also fueled innovation, leading to the creation of new technologies and infrastructures that we take for granted today. Then there was the issue of pollution. As factories billowed thick smoke and rivers ran thick with industrial waste, the air and water became repositories of harmful pollutants. While initially the dangers of pollution were largely overlooked, the severe health implications soon became impossible to ignore. This led to a growing environmental consciousness and the introduction of laws to regulate industrial waste. We also cannot overlook the social inequality exacerbated by the Industrial Revolution. The gap between the rich and the poor widened as factory owners amassed wealth on the backs of underpaid and overworked laborers. Yet this inequality also sparked a fight for workers' rights and fair labor practices, giving rise to labor unions and organizations that continue to advocate for workers to this day. The ripple effects of the Industrial Revolution extended far beyond the borders of Europe. It spurred a global economic shift, paving the way for new world powers to emerge, such as the United States and Germany. The Industrial Revolution, for better or worse, shaped the world we live in today. It gave birth to the modern industrial society, leaving us with lessons on progress and its implications. As we continue to move forward, let's remember the lessons of the past so we can strive for a future that harnesses progress without forgetting the value of our natural environment and the dignity of every worker.